So this question, about our place in the scheme of things versus all the rest of life, it's very clear that one of the unique things that is happening on the planet is that the fate of all life is becoming hinged to the decisions made by a single species. It's though the concept of cultivation has at this point been extended to the entire planet, and there's even a fairly radical form of political philosophy which would have you believe that we should take upon ourselves the role of caretaker of the planet. And what that means is extending the umbrella of human responsibility over the entire biota. What it means then, if you're an extraterrestrial standing off looking at all this, is that what is really going on the planet is a gene swarm. And, the concept of species is extremely slippery at its boundaries when you start trying to talk about it with a population geneticist or a molecular geneticist. And really what's happening is what the old biology calls species are really temporary nexi of genetic associations that on the scale of 1 million years are extremely plastic, flowing, changing, and at the viral level, even mammalian genes are moving around. Everything is in flux. Well, so then, suspended at some position in this matrix to be determined by self-reflection, maybe, is our species, which has this peculiar role of extending control through the extension of metaphor and technology. And we are somehow now defining the process. And to this point, historical development has been unconscious. I mean, the notion of a global civilization is probably less than 30 years old. As a fact, it's less than 10 years old. The asymptotic rate at which boundaries are being dissolved and databases are being fused is driving the historical process now with a momentum that no institution or person can control. The amount of information, the amount of sheer data that's being connected up. I mean, I was thinking last night, for some reason, God knows why, I was thinking about a pioneer in the Ohio Valley in 1810, and how this guy could talk to his wife or his 3 children, and how now at home I can talk to probably 500 million people in the world fairly easily by simply placing an international telephone call. I can talk to that many people. 500 million, between 5 and 500 million is, I believe, 6 orders of magnitude of connection that has gone on. Well, it's astonishing. And it means that, we are running around basically with the reflexes best suited for bashing out the brains of reindeer. This is what this is what nature taught us to do. And meanwhile, this genie, which we have summoned out of the dimensions of information and chaos and complexity that we have summoned through the magic of civilization, has some kind of autonomous existence, some kind of destiny. And it's not clear whether that organization is on some kind of quest for self-reflection, and that it moves through the atomic, the molecular, the subcellular, the cellular, the organic, the cultural, the personal, if it's that kind of thing, or if it's actually something that we have, as it were, summoned from above. I mean, this is back to these questions we talked about last night of Gnostic versus whatever else is out there, in terms of defining how we think about our relationship to the other and how other we are. I mean, if nature is the standard, then we are clearly, the minions of the other. I mean, nature has put all life on this planet at risk for this experiment in self-reflection, intelligence, material downloading of ideas into matter. If there is an appetition for completion, as Alfred North Whitehead thought, then, we have turned a corner in the high-stakes game of nature's unfoldment. History is a kind of alchemical sublimation. It's a rarefaction and a distillation of something. And, people say, well, what's the argument for the transcendent, for the eminence of the transcendent? The argument for the eminence of the transcendent is the presence of human history on the planet. If it were a planet of groundhogs, butterflies, and reindeer herds, Darwinian mechanics and so forth would nicely take care of the situation. The fact that it is home to the striving of a civilized, idea-producing species means that nature is trying to birth itself in a new way, almost to epigenetically explode itself out of the very deep and highly inertial creode of ordinary organic existence. And that biology, the slow, endless march of biology, 1.4 billion years of biology, and suddenly self-reflection appears, and in a million years produces more change than had been seen in the previous billion years. An order of several magnitudes of compression of time, of compression of novelty takes place here, and the human world is the domain of that drama. It's a great age for intelligence because there's so little of it. The nature of the game is to deprogram from all of these systems of images that are being handed down, and then to make your way like a pilgrim with eyes open across a new landscape, which is not a very pretty landscape because Western civilization is in the act of a slow motion train wreck. That's what's going on at the end of the millennium. What's happening is that the society is beginning to stretch its upper and lower boundaries. You can now fall farther and climb higher than you ever could before. I mean, if you screw up in this society, you could find yourself living under a bridge quickly. If, on the other hand, the dice rolled a different way for you, you could be sleeping with Madonna tomorrow.